welcome to the Motion Picture Notion. I'm on a bit of a superhero kick right now, so we're going to talk about the Justice League today. That I actually watched the day before I watched the Black Panther. I watched it with my wife, and there's a lot that I have to say about it. Overall, I thought it was an entertaining movie. I would definitely watch it again. There were certain elements of it that really seemed like they were getting it right. And I know that Joss Whedon had come on to sort of help. And I do feel kind of bad because I did talk a lot of shit about the movie. I didn't realize that Zack Snyder had lost his daughter, and I'm sure that that has something to do with why the production of the Justice League went the way that it did. Yet it still is unfortunate. It's like I kind of wish that they had just postponed it. You know, they got Joss Whedon on board, and it shows in certain parts of the movie. There are some really good quips between the superheroes. There's some really good banter. However, I do have to say, and like I noticed from the get-go, from the very beginning of the movie, like literally one of the opening scenes with Batman, the CG in these movies is very, very, very poor by today's standards, especially when you compare them to, like, the Marvel universe, which, I mean, like, the visuals on Black Panther, for example, were fucking beautiful, and even, like, on the Avengers and stuff, like, the DC really doesn't have, like, much of an excuse. I mean, I understand that, like, Marvel's got Disney backing it, and Disney's nothing but, like, money bags. Maybe give it another decade or so, Disney will buy out DC, and they'll start fucking making, like, a real, you know, good DC universe of characters. But, like, the CG is very subpar, and that's kind of bothersome. And, I mean, I'm going to go back to, like, the last half hour or so of this movie in a bit, because I have a lot to say about that. But as far as the CG is concerned, there is a lot of it. And it looks, the entire, like, ending battle to that movie, it's legit like PlayStation 3 graphics, and it's like there are certain parts where it's like it's very obvious that they took like an actor's head and put it on like a digital body that's doing all this ridiculous shit, and it looks fucking awful. It really does. Like the special effects in this movie were one of a few things that really did bother me. As far as complimentary things go, I think that everybody in the movie did a good job. I think that Jason Momoa was cool as Aquaman, although, once again, more towards the end of the movie, he sort of became that character who... See, like, here's the thing. If they were going to bring Aquaman into the movie, there should have been something specific to his character, you know? There should have been, like, this fucking guy is, you know... conjuring these, like, I don't know, ancient demons out of the earth, and they're coming up through the ocean or something. Okay, now Aquaman's got to, like, wrangle some sharks and shit like that, and they're doing this battle while there's a land battle going on, kind of a thing. Like, you know, to give him his own purpose in the movie. There is one scene in the movie where one of these four cubes, is being guarded by the Atlanteans, and there's this underwater fight sequence, and, like, that's it. That's, like, all, like, the real specific to his powers role that Aquaman has. And then in the last, like, half hour of the movie, it's like, okay, well, he's got super strength, I guess. And he's pretty much resorted to just being like, hell yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. It's like, you know, that whole fucking thing that happened in the 90s that was, like, you know, kind of popular maybe with Will Smith for, like, a little bit, and then it got really fucking old really quick. That's sort of like the character that he became. The movie just really got sloppy towards the end. I mean, because up until that point, there was a lot of shit that I was, like, excusing, because I know it's DC, and, like, they're not as good as Marvel. And I tried not to, like, really be too harsh on it. Like, you know, Gal Gadot was good, the characters were really good, The Flash was amazing. Like, hands fucking down, the best part of that movie. Like, I'm obviously going to continue to watch the DC Universe movies, but I will do it with some semblance of enthusiasm because of the fucking guy who played the Flash. He hands down, best fucking part of that movie, by far. Every scene with him was gold. My favorite scene, they're fighting, like, literally all the other Justice League are fighting Superman. And, like, he's got, like, 3 of them trying to grapple him, and he's just fighting them, and all of a sudden the Flash, like, takes off, and he starts running right at Superman, and it shows you in, like, flash vision as he's going, like, slow motion towards Superman. You just see Superman go, like this, and then you see the Flash go, like like totally like sees Superman seeing him and is like, oh fuck, like, you know, and he really like that whole sequence, like the facial expressions were fucking brilliant. Like it was so well directed, and I was like, yes, like that was Zack Snyder all around. He did my favorite superhero movie, Watchmen. You know, it's like that's why I got like a great vote of confidence in this guy. I really do. I think that Aquaman deserves his own movie where he can be Aquaman and do his Aquaman thing, and that will help his character out a lot. They had fucking better do a Flash movie, dude, because like I can't stop raving about this guy. The bad guy, Steppenwolf. Huge CG monster. Who cares? Like, I don't give a fuck. It's like the extent of like his badassery comes with a story where it's just basically like, yeah, this guy's a badass and he killed a lot of people back in the day and now he's back and he wants the cubes and he wants to have absolute power and yada yada. It's like it's just such a flat cardboard cutout of a fucking character. There was nothing interesting about him. The fucking villains from Suicide Squad, the fucking gigantic Egyptian-looking motherfucker or whatever who goes like walking around, who's all fucking CG'd out and shit, he is like fucking interchangeable with Steppenwolf. Like they need to Steppenwolf it up a little bit with their fucking supervillains, man. Because especially, you know, and again, like I went to see Black Panther like a day later, and I see Michael B. Jordan as like one of the most well-established, like sympathetic and poignant fucking supervillains ever. And, you know, it's just like, come on, guys, like actually fucking try. I really hope that by the time they get to Darkseid, they're able to, like, kind of better flesh out their fucking villains a little bit, and their characters, you know? I mean, I've done videos about this before, about how DC's been trying to catch up with Marvel instead of just biding their time, waiting until Marvel's run out of steam, and then going full force, you know? They're just trying to, like, jam-pack. It's like, we're in the middle of the Avengers movies right now, so we need a Justice League. We need a Justice League. And it's sort of like, all right, well, you know, or you could, just saying, you know, take time, do a few origin stories, develop your story a little bit, and then, you know, see where things go from there. Oh, and another thing, Superman. Superman's whole fucking thing, I can understand, given the circumstances, like, why he would be pissed at Batman. I can understand why he would want to beat the shit out of him, but for him to go, like, full up, essentially supervillain for a scene, and then all of a sudden it's like he sees Lois and it's like, oh, magically I'm Clark Kent, I've realized who I am. It just didn't really make any sense, because he really did almost kind of go full up supervillain, and there wasn't like really any, like, you know, because even the Flash goes like, oh no, Pet Cemetery, because it was suggested that when they brought him back he might not be quite the same. But that whole concept, they could have even run with that a little bit, but that whole concept got kind of dropped, like I said, the second that Superman saw Lois Lane. So that was another flaw with the movie. But again, it really wasn't until the end that I was like, they gave up on this movie. They dropped the ball. They just, like, after a certain point, they just stopped caring. And, like, PlayStation 3, fucking explosion, CG goddamn everything with, like, people's heads on CG, over CG, with CG in the fucking forefront, and the, like, it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. And it's not, and the thing is, again, it's not even good CG. Like, they really crapped out on the end of that movie, and that's very disappointing. I mean, I would say that in the DC universe so far, I would say Suicide Squad is the weakest link. Followed by Justice League, followed by Batman vs. Superman, and Wonder Woman and Man of Steel I actually thoroughly enjoyed. But those are my thoughts. What are yours?